What's up? Hello, beautiful people. Happy 2026. I wanted to come on right quick just to share some downloads that I received from my spiritual guide. Also, out running some errands. Y'all have to excuse the lighting. It is nighttime, and I kind of cracked my video screen, so it's not the best high quality. But the main goal is for you guys to take in the message that I have for you. I know that many people are really big on creating New Year's resolutions. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I'm trying to give you a little tip on how to really activate some of the things that you would like to manifest in your life. I know that you have heard me preach a lot about using your words to speak life into the universe or positivity. But there's a little bit more to it than that. And how I know is because I've practiced some of these tips and ideas that I am sharing with you. So, just kind of think outside the box and don't be so quick to be stuck in a cognitive dissonance mindset, because you never know. Sometimes trying different things that may sound kind of off the wallish, it may actually benefit you in the long run. Especially if you've been trying the same thing over and over and over and over again and really getting the same results. That's kind of like what we call insanity. Or, we'll just leave it at that. So why do we really, especially us spiritual people, make a big deal about energy? Energy is very essential to recognize and to apply. Energy is in everything pretty much, but it is something that you have to acknowledge, because it took energy for you to be here. Like when that semen went looking for your mama egg, that took some energy. When even the sexual act, that takes energy. You understand? So energy is a big deal. When you are drinking water, it takes the energy in your brain cells to connect the neurons to cause your body to do what it needs to do, which is use energy to get the water to go down your throat. So, I can go on and on and on and on about the science behind how we use energy. But let me tell you more about the manifestation. Okay, so back then, I really didn't know much about it until I started looking at videos and reading more into it. And I'm going to tell you this. There was probably back in 2000, what year? It probably was like around 2020. I left Sarasota, then I came over. And that's, okay, the boys came to my 2019. So they were like 3 years old. Okay, so I'll say close to 2019. I was pretty much under a lot of pressure because I was just trying to finish up my degree. I really had a hard time balancing being a mother, being a wife, and trying to be a student. But because of my mindset, because I was determined to balance my schedule, I was able to do okay in all the areas. Besides the point of, the traumatic and the emotional issues that, I suffered. And, that I guess we can say we both, that I suffered in my marriage. We'll just say beyond, just excluding that, just knowing that I was determined to do what I need to do to get my kids where they need to be. And they had their struggles, but because I really was determined to keep them focused and keep them on track, they all ended up, like I said in previous videos, graduating, not only just graduating, but they all graduated with pretty decent grades. And so I ended up graduating with this decent grades, but that's beyond the point. So after I got my degree, I had to pretty much work my way up to the top. So I started out making almost $30,000 a year. Within the 2 years, and I said, you know what, it ain't what I really want, but I'm gonna just go ahead and be humble and have gratitude and try to work my way through the circumstance. Even though I went through a lot of challenges, I went through challenges to where I dealt with, some prejudice acting coworkers. I went through challenges where I was very disrespected constantly by the students, but I still was trying to keep my eyes on the prize. I still had faith in myself that I can push through it and I can still do good. And I did not take all of my challenges and my anger out on other people that's close to me that love me. And I still had open arms to helping whoever I could, even though I didn't even have the money to help. Shortly, probably less than a year or two after that, I went from making $30,000 to making $47,000 a year. So same repetitive, because that's what they say. Nothing under the sun and the moon is new. It's a cycle. It's just how you manage throughout those cycles. And so I went from that to now my pay is slowly increasing, and it's supposed to increase some more. But sometimes when we're caught in the moment, we're just thinking about the here and now. But And it's important to do that. You do need to kind of live in the moment. But if your mind is set on achieving a certain goal, it's going to take a little bit more than just praying and thinking, oh, okay, I'm done. I don't have to put in the leg work. No, baby, it don't work like that. So this is something that you need to keep in mind. And even a lot of elite and top high society type people, they even know the secrets. And I'm still learning, but from what I know is it's not all about speaking and manifesting what you want. You almost got to kind of picture it, and you also got to put in the leg work. You also got to have your mindset in the right spot. You can't be plotting and gaming and doing all kinds of low vibrational things in our society and towards people, just because you can. That's called free will, and then expect a blessing in return. Oh no, you just held up the whole process, right? It's like when you put out good karma, you get back good karma. That's just how it works. And so a lot of people, especially like I was saying, a lot of, successful people know the secrets in how it works. Now, when the successful people start to break down and start to allow materialism to get the best of them and bad habits and drinking and partying all the time, then of course you putting yourself on a low vibration. And of course, your success gonna start crumbling, and you end up in the news on some bullshit, like P. Diddy. All right. So like a lot of music artists, they used to use back then, like the real true R&B, neo soul type music. They really put a lot of emphasis on nature, and they understood the importance of nature. They took it and turned the things that they seen and observed into art, combined it with love. And so that's how we get the group Earth, Wind, and Fire. They also knew how to tap into the energy of our ancestors, because back then that's what it was all about. Just giving reverence and appreciation to what we've been blessed with: air to breathe, water to cleanse ourselves, and fire to help us stay warm and help us cook some decent meals. So this is another group, After 7, one of my favorite songs. And y'all be patient with me. I ain't trying to butcher the song, but it's one of my favorite songs. I give you the sun, the rain, the moon, the stars, and the mountain. I'll give you the world and all that you reach for, and even more. 'Cause boy, I love you more than you could know, and that's for sure. I'll climb the highest hills, cross the widest sea. Nothing can discourage me, and I'll pray that you be always there for me, and even more. Ready or not, I'll give you everything and more. And all that I got is yours. I'll give you everything and all that you're looking for. I'm torturing the song, but y'all get the point. So when you are manifesting, keep an eye out on the moon cycle. The moon cycle activates and connect. Well, I'll just say it disturbs and triggers emotions within us. That's why you see a lot of people either being very highly sexual, or they acting crazy, like they about to turn into a werewolf. So that's because of the energy from the moon. All right. The moon gives us our feelings and emotions. Our sun gives us our energy. That's why when you go into the sun, it helps clear up depression. It helps give us the energy to want to do things and get things done. It even sweats out all the bacteria in your system. So just keep in mind, when you are manifesting, it's not just about speaking words into the universe. It's not just about speaking over the water that you drink and you pour into your body, because that's another way that you can activate healing within your body. It's all about your mindset, knowing how to tap into the universe, using the elements. It doesn't make you a witch. It doesn't make you a warlock. It doesn't make you a wizard. This is pretty much some of the things that a lot of religious people use. They use water to do what? Baptize the sinners, right? They use the incense. They use the myrrh, the oil. They use the elements to do what they need to do to complete a ritual, but just in a different way. So just keep that in mind when you are really trying to get things done in your life and trying to make changes in your life, you really, 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 and that's why I say it's a spiritual warfare. You really, really, really got to be dedicated to yourself. Not that you're selfish, but you can't be around negative people that's quick to talk you down, quick to rain on your parade, or say, man, that ain't gonna work. Man, you stupid for thinking that you can do that. When you're around people like that, that's hindering your mindset and your growth. So you got to be around like-minded people, or it ain't nothing wrong with being solo. I know many people are afraid to be by themselves, but let me tell you, I have been more at peace, and I have been able to really figure out what I want and get things done because I'm not overwhelmed with everybody else's burden and everybody else's chatter and everybody else's opinion. So in this new phase in your life, I'm not going to say it's a new year because it's really not. I already told you the new year is when the first day of spring come around. But because we have to go by the changes in the numbers, which that's jacked up too. I'm just saying, if you really, really got to go through with this New Year's resolution, just keep these tips in mind, okay? Stay focused on your goals. Manifest. You got to do the legwork. Be mindful of your heart and your mindset. Like I said, if your goal is to use niggas and try to get the bag, you're hindering your growth. And that money that you're trying to get and scam people out of, that's not going to last long. You just pretty much cursing your money. All right? If you're trying to use your body, thinking that you can take advantage and put a sex spell on somebody, all you're doing is pretty much cursing your body. You either going to have unwanted pregnancies, you're going to have issues with fibroids, you're going to have hormonal issues, all types of problems. And you may not understand why, but it's probably because of how you are abusing your body and how you are working on a low vibrational level. Not just for women, for men too. You know, unwanted pregnancies with women that you cannot stand, that you was just caught up in the moment, probably because you was drunk and high. So that then you got to deal with all the hell from the mama, but then you still want to try to balance out having love for the child. So to cut down all the confusion, these are some things that I felt my ancestors, my spirit guide, wanted me to kind of share with you. And, you know, like I said, my intentions isn't to make you feel less than, because we're imperfect, but perfect in our own way. We're all still learning, including myself. So the minute I see and I feel or I get any kind of information, downloads, read, or listening to any of my six senses, I'm going to make sure I share them with you, because I want nothing but the best for you. I want to see you flourish, because like I said, blessings are energetic exchanges. You know what I mean? So if I get blessed with any kind of information or anything, any money or whatever, then I get a chance to contribute and put it back into the flow in our society, and it just balance and it transfer on to you and to whoever else. So it's more to it than just paying on a love offering. It's more to it than paying tithe. You can contribute in so many other ways and still reap the benefits. You understand? So this is all I wanted to kind of share with you for now. Again, stay positive. You know, when you make mistakes, forgive yourself, change yourself, and get back on track. And with that being said, I love you. Peace out and be blessed.